Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 1 of the 2024-2025 season for the Hoosier State Instigators. I'm your co-host and co-owner, Frosty, here with Jakey Muffins, here with Spacely. Man, how you guys feeling about Game 1 this year? We finally made it.
Yeah, man, we're back, baby. Man, I'm excited. How about you, Jake?
Absolutely. It's a long off season, but we're finally ready to kick off season two.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so the players are getting ready on the court. We want to do a short pregame show, something we're adding this year, talking about some things to watch, talking about some things we're excited for, getting folks updated in case they haven't been following us on Patreon or on YouTube in the off season, in case they're only basketball fans during the basketball season. Jake, what are you looking forward to most tonight?
I'm really looking forward to seeing how some of our familiar faces mix with the new guys on the team. So we've got a good core of our guys returning from last season. Obviously AB, he was our all-star from last year, as well as Dylan Ware, team captain Chuck Bloom, and JoJo Hart, all returning from last season. Joe Bird will be joining us, but he didn't play this first game, but he will be joining us later in the season. Then we saw some new faces, in the preseason games, and we've got some more joining us for this first game.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. A good mixture of new guys and old guys, or veteran guys, I should say, returning guys. 4 guys tonight out of the 12 dressed for us last year, right? So, based on the math that I try to do in my head, that leaves about 8 guys on the 12-man roster who are dressing for the Instigators for the first time. One of the ones I'm looking forward to seeing the most is Jackson Stone. Came over from the Indiana Lions, has a ring with the Lions. Another big body playing down low. What do you expect to see out of him tonight, Spacely?
Yeah, just to touch on it again, like Jake said too, I'm excited for everybody that's joined the roster for the 2024-2025 season. But Jackson specifically, uh, I've been in the ownership group chat all summer long throughout the summer league, just just admiring as much Jackson as much as anybody else in the group. His work ethic has been really well throughout the summer, throughout the preseason, I should say. Through the IBL Pro Am, he was killing it. Nobody could stop him in the IBL Pro Am. So I'm excited to see how that translates into an Instigators jersey during ABA play. Um, but another player, just to touch base on the rookies that I'm really excited for
Yeah.
is Steve Rogers, man. The kid, what, he's 19, right? 20?
Yeah. 19 years old.
19 years old, a youngin'. I remember one day I was 19 for a year, back in the day, way back in the day. And, I'm excited to see how he performs with his first game coming into the ABA as well for the Instigators. So um, that's another one of our outstanding prospects, I should say. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to seeing how he goes today.
Yeah, me too. He played really well in the scrimmage. We saw this summer in the preseason game against the Shuckers a couple of weeks ago. He
Hmm.
and Lawrence Boyd seemed to have all kinds of chemistry. Another one of our rookies who really showed up and showed out.
Yeah.
One of the guys I'm really interested to see tonight is Malcolm Martin. He's a new addition to the team, hasn't played in the ABA before, was made a team captain about a month ago, and has really been one of those leaders that we've needed on and off the court. So I'll be really interested to see. He played really well in that Shuckers preseason game, getting his first taste of ABA action. But
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see how he goes against really a formidable team, I think, in the Louisville Pros. What do you all think it's going to take for us tonight to beat the Pros, a team that we went 1-2 against last year?
You know, um, I believe it's something that we touched base on all off season as well, and something that I believe we may have found some answers to this problem. But it's always the thing that separates a good team from a great team, and the great team from the elite in the ABA is two things. It's depth and defense. So I think if we're able to play that we are able to play as we've seen throughout the summer league and throughout all the combines and the practices and tryouts, everything leading up basically to season opener. If we can beat them in those two categories, I think not only do we beat them, I think we beat a lot of teams this season. So um, those are my two key factors.
Yeah, I think that's right. The Louisville Pros, the one thing we know about that team is they will hustle for 48 minutes, whether they're up by 20 or down by 20.
Yeah.
And so they're a team that you can't give up on. They're led by their player owner, Dominic Williams, who played really well against us in all 3 games. I will point out that the one game in which we beat the Pros, yours truly was the head coach, so I'm technically undefeated against them. I want that in the record books. It's important to note. But all 3 games were really close. And one went to overtime. The only overtime game for the Hoosier State Instigators last year was the second game in Louisville against the Pros, a game in which we lost by 4 points there at the end. So a really, really scrappy squad. They got new uniforms this year. They're wearing blacks, which look really sharp, I got to say, for those of you that are uniform junkies. I think they look really good. We're wearing the home whites tonight. Voted on by the fans as the home jersey this year. So last year we went with the traditional home jersey of the white. And this year we decided we were going to throw it up to the fans. We see more teams wearing their colors at home in basketball. Basketball is about the only sport left where they wear white at home. And so we left it up to the fans. We want to go more modern or more traditional. I was a little surprised. Our fans usually lean more modern, but they went with the traditional pick here. Jake, what do you think about the whites at home?
I mean, I was prepped for it. You know, I've got the white shirt on today. But yeah, I mean, I get it. You got to keep some things traditional. I mean, we open up a lot of votes to the fans.
Yeah.
You know, one of the other big key votes we had jumping into this first game was we had the fans vote on our final roster spot.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Our very final roster spot. We can dress 12. We have more than 12 on the roster, as those of you know, particularly those in the Discord who have been watching the announcements. We have more than 12. And so the way it works each week is coach picks 11 players to dress, and the fans pick what we've dubbed the fans man to be number 12. And this week it's Rico Spikes, number 9. Played for us in the summer league, played in the scrimmage game, or I should say the preseason game against the Shuckers, but making his ABA debut for us tonight in the regular season. A guy who brings a lot of overseas experience, a lot of basketball experience at high levels. What have you seen about Rico that you think makes him a valuable add at that 12 spot, guys?
Yeah, and I could start. He again, like that, he brings in that veteran experience, that overseas experience for a lot of these younger guys, which is always great. It's always great to have a player like that on any franchise. But speaking more about him individually, it's his ability to create shots, whether that's for himself or for his teammates. He's really good at dashing in. He's really a threat from deep. If you leave him open, he's taking that shot, and he's making that shot on a pretty fairly consistent basis. So he's not one of those players that you don't trust with the ball in his hands, So I mean, the fans made a really good choice in my opinion. You couldn't go wrong on either end. Obviously, we wouldn't have these players on the roster just to keep them around. We have faith in anybody from players on reserve down to the they're getting 48 minute game if need be. So I'm excited to see Rico ball out throughout the season as well, and we got a lot to look forward to this year, boys.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. The last thing I kind of want to hit on tonight is obviously Coach Dobbs making her regular season debut, her professional debut as a head coach with the Instigators. Coached a lot of men's leagues in the past. We hired her back in May. The players were involved. In fact, Chuck Bloom helped interview her as the team captain from last year. By the way, again, returning as team captain, one of 3 team captains this year, along with JoJo Hart and Malcolm Martin, as we mentioned before. But What are you guys looking for from Coach Dobbs tonight that maybe we were missing last year from our two coaches?
Yeah, I mean, again, being able to watch this team kind of gel throughout the preseason and going through the summer league, which is a completely different experience than what we had last year alone. Um, really, it's just seeing how everything translates into ABA. We prepared ourselves for moments throughout the preseason and put ourselves in those scenarios where we did play some games traditional, some more along the lines of ABA, some hybrid. But just being able to see where it all counts, when it goes into the record books. Let's see how that translates um, into professional American Basketball Association basketball. You know.
Yeah, and I've liked the different defenses that we've run throughout the off season. I think that's definitely a key thing that kind of sets Coach Dobbs apart, from what we've seen in the past from with our coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a mix of zone and man. I expect to see a mix of zone and man tonight as well, which I think can lend itself, depending on the personnel, to a really solid squad defensively. We saw at times during the summer league, we really locked teams down, and we saw at times during the game against the Shuckers where we locked them down. And so the question is, can we put 48 minutes together of good defense? Something we've been waiting to see from the Instigators all season. My hope is that we shoot better free throws tonight than we have in the past and that we turn the ball over less. We turned the ball over an average of 15 times a game last season and made about 50% of our free throws. So I'd like to see one of those numbers go up and one of those numbers goes down. You can guess which ones. We do want to jump out to the game here. But I do want to just let fans know we had some technical difficulties with the arena. We think it's all fixed for future games. But unfortunately, we're going to miss the first 5 minutes of the game here against the Louisville Pros. We're going to jump in with about 7 minutes to go, 7.5 minutes to go. The Instigators are down 8-9, but I can tell you that our starters for the night were Dylan Ware, Jackson Stone, Chuck Bloom, Malcolm Martin, and JoJo Hart. Those guys were our starters. JoJo hit an early three. Dylan chipped in 2, and then Chuck chipped in another bucket plus a free throw. That's our 8 points. So you're all caught up now. We don't really care from who scored from Louisville. So good job to them, but we're not going to name them.
No, and if you are just as upset about me missing these first few minutes, you could always come out to Best Choice Fieldhouse, the new home venue of your Hoosier State Instigators, the 2024-2025 season, and quite possibly, for the foreseeable future as well. So come out,
Yeah,
www.apexsports.com. Hi, guys.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a good point. Jake and I were both in attendance for this game. Jake came up from
Yeah.
Florida. It's a different vibe. We're trying to really build a Rucker Park type scenario there where fans are all along the court. So we have them against the kind of sideline nearest to the camera here, and then they can also spread out around. And we hope to eventually fill that place full of fans. This game, interesting fact, is our second highest attended game in Instigators history, behind our home opener in Clinton. And so we're really excited for the future there. But what do you think about the arena in general, Jake, before we jump out there?
Yeah, no, it was a really nice arena. I got some nice videos of it. We'll have to look at in the future. But it's nice that you can get up and close to the action. That's one of the things that really sets it apart from our home venue last season. It was more of like a traditional bleacher type setting. This one, the fans are literally right on the sidelines, front row seats for everybody.
Yeah, I'll give a kind of minor spoiler that was my favorite part of the night that will maybe just see if you're looking for it as an Eagle Eye fan. At one point, one of the kids who is sitting, front row, because everyone's basically sitting front row, spills their snack onto the basketball court, and we have to stop the game while they pick up the fan snack. That's how
Yeah.
close the fans are to this game. So it's a unique situation and a unique environment. But it gets super. I thought it got super loud, super raucous. The players were jawing with some of the fans, so it was a unique environment. So I'm excited to debut it. So we're gonna do that first, though. We're gonna cut to a quick video to remind you of some of the unique rules about the American Basketball Association for 2024 and 2025. All right, so we hit the action here in Clinton with the Louisville Pros shooting a free throw as they miss it. Nothing missed yet. All the starters for both teams in the game as the Instigators down one, as we said earlier, with about 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Instigators in white going left to right, and you got the Louisville Pros in black going the opposite way as JoJo Hart bangs in a three. That's the way we want to start the game, isn't it, fellas?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, for those watching, welcome. We are officially in season 2 of the Hoosier State Instigators franchise. As it looks as if the Louisville Pros will inbound off of that play.
Yeah, a foul there by Jackson Stone as he gets another quick foul here to start the game. So 2 quick fouls for Jackson. Those are his first 2 of the game. As we get going, as you can see, the crowd packed in around the gym on the sideline close to us, just as we mentioned. Instigators on the bench to the left of the scorers table. You can see them all in white jerseys there with Coach Dobbs and assistant Coach Dobbs. Mother and son working the bench for us here in 24-25. They've been great for us so far this year. Let's hope all that hard work turns into a W to start the season.
Absolutely. A quick turnover by the Instigators on that one. As I believe that's Overstreet and Overstreet for the Louisville Pros.
Yeah.
He dishes that down low and
Another miss there, yeah.
rattle off the rim right to an Instigator's hand, wide open Malcolm Martin. Oh, and get the shooter on that one. That's all right though. That's all
I thought
right.
he had that.
Happens to the best of us.
Thurman with another shot. He missed that one. He can shoot the three. They can't sag off him too much. Really, a lot of the pros can shoot the three.
That one will get called back, but that should go on the highlight reel. We'll just mute it one day. Dylan Ware made that dunk for those who were wondering.
All right, we
Did
get our
not
first
count for the
substitution as
score.
Alex Brown checks in.
Yeah.
It gives us a chance to spotlight Alex. Tell us a little bit about him, Jay.
Yeah, Alex Brown, the 6'8", 7-footer. The average 3.3 points a game last season for us, as you guys see on the screen. first team ABA All Star. He set a franchise record 63 blocks and 200 rebounds in the season. Game where he had 13 blocks and had a game where he had 25 rebounds, which is pretty insane because I don't think any of us accumulated together have accomplished those numbers at all. But Alex Brown, happy to have him back here for a second season with the Instigators, and of course, you know, all of the fans around the world of the Instigators always get excited to see him come in on any rotation. So as you see the big man hobbling over, he he will check in for the Instigators alongside there's Dylan Ware again, as we touched base on earlier, and JoJo Hart and Chuck Bloom as well alongside Martin, who will inbound over to JoJo. And JoJo, he's been a wonderful piece to have alongside with the rest of the guys as well all throughout the inaugural season and heading into this year as well. Um, One of those the guys that just sparks the points on all ends all year long. And he's such a threat on defense. He's so shifty that he just finds ways to create all these steals and get down low to Chuck Bloom, who puts in another
Nice job
basket.
there by Chuck. Yeah, absolutely. One of the
See,
things I really think people should know about JoJo is just his dedication to this team.
yeah,
JoJo lives in Illinois and drives 3 to 4 hours to practice twice a week and never misses. The guy is dedicated to the craft, dedicated to
yeah,
being a leader on the court. And I think that brings a lot of respect from his teammates toward him,
yeah,
knowing how much he sacrifices because he loves the game so much.
absolutely. He's a baller, and in the owner scrimmage, if we want to get to talking about that, he dished me off a couple assists too. So the guy
Hey,
knows what
oh,
he's
the
doing.
one
And
thing
if he can,
about JoJo though is I did pick his pocket in that scrimmage, so
that's
don't forget that. As they went for the alley oop there, it didn't happen, but Malcolm with the rebound and the quick assist to Chuck with another bucket for Chuck.
another bucket. Chuck Bloom, just another one of those guys. I remember we were testing out the fantasy league system, and we tested out, just a random game throughout the season. And I sent you the stats. I'm like, man, talk about balanced. Chuck Bloom had the same amount of points that he could score on offense as he got on defense. And
Yeah,
I was like, if that doesn't tell you the kind of game Chuck could give you as he goes up for a rebound right there and puts another one up and they way down off though. But still, I mean, that right there is Chuck Bloom's game all day long. If you get him underneath the basket, it's easy money for him all day long. Um,
yeah, absolutely. He's super strong and works hard and hustles down there and out rebounds everybody. He fills up the stats.
yeah,
He's already got 7 points in this game. We're only in the first quarter. 7 of the 15 points so far scored by Chuck Bloom.
yeah.
Meanwhile, LB Lawrence Boyd checks in for his first professional basketball action as a Hoosier State Instigator or at all. AB with the block.
That thing went all the way back to Clinton. He's taking it back to 2023, 2024 Instigators.
I think he just didn't want me to finish my introduction to LB. I got to
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah. So, let's talk about LB a little bit more.
So for those of you looking at the court and you're just curious, the white line is the 3-point line, not the black line. We're shooting from the white line. So when you want to argue with the refs later, make sure you know what line you're talking about.
And
And
LB
immediately a steal by LB. Can't quite hold on to it, though, and it's going to turn into a 3D for the pros. So for those of you new to the ABA, we had it in the introduction video, but turnover in your own backcourt could lead to an extra point if the other team scores on the next possession. Lance Hopkins fouled. Number 00. Love the 00. He was specific. 2 zeros.
I wonder. We got to get the bet. We'll have to get him on the podcast and get some backstory as to why that is. 'Cause that is pretty odd and pretty specific, I would say. But it looks good on him. It looks good. And there it is, the very first points with the Instigators as well. Another big moment for the fans watching at home or wherever you are around the world right now. And that one rattles off, but the pros take that up court. And
Steal by
JoJo
JoJo
getting in
there.
there. JoJo getting handsy with it. And
Travel by LB there. Just didn't quite get dribbling quick enough on that. He was going too fast.
yeah, he probably had dunk in mind already for the past 6 months. So we'll give that one to him. He's
Blocked by LB though.
there. We go, and right there, good
Easy assist.
transition offense. And look at that, Dylan Webb with it in. That's Instigators basketball right there. Transition offense and getting low and getting nasty with them on the boards.
It's definitely something we succeeded in last year, and we want to see more of this year. And it looks like we're seeing that already as the team's getting the ball off the court pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of glancing down at the ticker right there. Um, for those of you that are wondering, or for those of you just wanting an update, simply, we have a fantasy league. Corey, if you kind of break that down for some of the fans watching after I get through with this message, we have a fantasy league at home for fans that can come and basically draft your dream team squad of our current roster and face off against fans each week as we go game by game throughout the regular season for the chance to win a bunch of bragging rights and a lot more. So, Corey, if you would you please explain that in a much more professional way than I just did, because I butchered it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got two brackets. We got our free bracket and we got our Patreon exclusive bracket for those subscribers. But anyone can sign up for our free bracket, draft your starting five of Instigators, tally up the points each week, and see where you stand. So down there in our ticker in the bottom third, you can see where the fans stand after this game. So if you're one of those fans and you're looking at your points and you know who you drafted, I guess you'll have a pretty good idea how their game went even before you see it here. Although a lot of those folks, I will tell you, were in person at the game, so they know already.
Well, there are those bonus and fractions as well, so you might have to keep your eye on the action to actually be able to kind of add up everything, but you'll be fairly close. There's only a few of those that come around, so um, that's a little bit of foreshadowing. As
Good
even gets
defense
down
there
there.
by Lance Hopkins and Steve Rogers, who's checked into the game, another one of our phenomenal rookies.
Yeah,
Interesting fact about Lance Hopkins: this game was actually sponsored by Lance's family.
yeah,
The Stites family, his extended family, they all kind of chipped in and became sponsors of the Instigators to support Lance.
that's
We appreciate them so much, and you'll see that they're honored at halftime. But thank you to the entire Stites family for your support and for supporting Lance, and also just for turning Lance into the great guy that he is. He's an awesome asset to our team.
absolutely, absolutely.
As we see a foul there, the Louisville Pros will go to the line for two.
And is that a foul? Yeah. Was it? I'm just playing. I think they were just trying to ruin our introductions.
I guess.
We get to going on about these rookies and the league. Just anyways. All right, and that one
Serves them right to miss the free throw after that.
Yeah, right.
Honestly.
All right, I'm glad we're all in agreement here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the support system.
I believe that's number 22 Overstreet on the line, if I'm not mistaken. Shooting his second of two free throws. That one goes in. He's 1 of 2 there at the trip. Instigators with a 3-point lead here in the first quarter. With about 2 minutes to go here. So a rather low scoring quarter as Steve Rogers takes his first professional shot. Unfortunately, it doesn't go in. I'm sure he'll get one.
It does feel like a pretty low scoring quarter here, but it seems as if this game, I don't know if it's just the game one kind of jitters, or it's not necessarily jitters, or just a filling out process more than anything, so to say, from both sides. Kind of seeing both teams kind of switch over their defense a bit here early on, and kind of trying to limit that fast break as you see. Another big defensive sequence from Lawrence Boyd, LB, a rookie, but he's just short off of that one as he tries to put that one up and in.
Yeah.
8-17.
LB is super athletic, and we saw it there. I think that's his second block of the game. It's the first
Yeah,
quarter.
he's sneaky athletic as well. I mean, you can't tell it through a screen, but the kid is freaking pretty large, pretty tall in terms of his wingspan. And yeah, he's got a few games so far throughout the year that he's been able to come out and just be able to freaking smack somebody's ball into the ground. And you'll see a couple moments later on, since we get the chance to see it ahead of you guys. You'll see a few moments where that happens again. As AB comes up short,
He draws the foul though, so he'll go to the
he draws
line.
the foul. Yeah, okay, I'll get him. For those of you guys that aren't in the loop, I'm probably AB's biggest hater out of all of us, so just bear with me on that. It'll be all right. Somebody's got to do it. Everybody loves the guy so much that I've taken it upon myself, to love him. Don't get me wrong, my guy. But
He
I'm
misses the free throw
also
there. This is, I would say, one of the few weaknesses to AB's game. At least it was last year's free throw percentage.
Yeah.
Last year shot right under 50%, I believe, and so hopefully he'll work on that this year. Although at the line here, we're just hoping he goes, as we got a blown whistle here. Apparently, a Louisville Pro is lined up in the wrong box, so he needs to move over one so AB can take the shot. It's disappointing though because AB's free throw went in.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be all right. And that, you know what? That's lap. I'm not a coach, but I'll talk with her and see what we could do.
Maybe it was their strategy, honestly.
Yeah, I think every time I see a 7-foot guy, I'm going up to slam on me. I'm probably following the guy too. It's a good strategy, I would say.
Yeah, I'd rather foul him than be in his poster for sure.
Yeah. Which speaking of which, there's this specific team that we're playing with. Alex Brown does have a poster coming out in the player collection section soon that features him slamming on one of these guys from the Louisville Pros. So it happens to just be. So yeah, I would definitely agree. I'd have to just take the foul instead of take the picture.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What I really like about the players collection, some of which is available already at apexsports.com, is that part of the proceeds for each of those shirts and jerseys go directly back to the player that you're supporting. So make sure you find your favorite Instigator player, buy some merch with their name on it, and support them directly.
Yeah, support them directly, and not only that, but come out flyer than everybody else in the building. You got exclusive merchandise that again, as Corey just said, it helps support players and support the franchise at the same time by spreading the word about the organization. As that bucket goes up and in, we're down by 5 right here to start the season off in our home venue. As that one was a little bit. I think we might have had the AC on that side for a minute, and that's no good. As we've got a discussion to come through with the refs about that reaction from Alex Brown. As he's just animated. He's just showing how much he loves the team.
Yeah, it was a rough first end of the first quarter there as the Instigators went from up 5 to down 5 in the last 3 minutes or so of the game. We're going to take a quick commercial break before the second quarter, but we'll see you soon.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, Their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
All right, so the pros are heading back out onto the court here. Tough end of the first quarter for us, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, again, like you said, I wouldn't say necessarily tough on either side of the court for first quarter. I think it was more of a filling out process. Seems like both teams were kind of just kind of playing a little bit competitive on defense, playing a little bit sloppy on offense at times. Kind of getting ahead of themselves, and just losing possession of the ball. But overall, solid performance. It wasn't nothing that stuck out too much outside of the turnovers again.
Yeah. So AB has been assessed a technical foul for that anti-celebration, we'll call it, at the
Yeah.
end of the first quarter there, as we see the first technical free throw go for a miss. First technical for the season for the Instigators, and I think first ever for Alex Brown, maybe a second. If it's a second, he'll tie me for second in Instigators history with two technical fouls, just behind Joe Bird.
Well, I don't know if it's his second. I do know it's the first ever being tracked fantasy league scoring system, and that will be -5 no matter how much he balls out. He is losing some points for those fans at home. So, AB, if you're listening, you may or may not be on my squad. So just next time.
Sorry about that. Number 13's in the game. Levante Nelson starting the quarter for the
Big,
Instigators.
big
Picked up in our
lockdown.
last tryout about 2 weeks ago. Levante played overseas, has a ton of basketball experience at really high levels, and we're excited to have him as he hits his first basket on his first shot.
That was a big sequence right there too. I believe that was one of the moments I highlighted and sent over to you the other day. Big transition defense right there into the transition offense, and we had Steve and AB up at the board on both ends. That's gonna be dangerous. As LB is down to AB.
Absolutely, as AB gets fouled here. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that technical foul. Is it going to fire him up and get him going a little bit here in the second quarter? If
Yeah,
anything,
no.
the first 2 minutes are going to tell us, it looks like it might be a yes.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's just animated. It's Alex, that's all. He just doing what he does. The refs didn't necessarily agree with it. The guys loved it, so take it. As long as he makes this, and here's the announcer's curse. And that was not scripted, fellas. For all of you guys watching at home, that was Alex, these are points coming off of my fantasy league right there as he shaves another one off. Alex Brown.
Over 4 to start the game from free throw range. Well, technically 1 for 5, but one got taken away.
Yeah,
So.
and you know what? That's correct. But I'm not gonna be the guy and go and add me another point, but I should. As we get a little bit more into the game itself again, as Chuck Bloom, the bidder down low, there's AB getting some of that point back, and he's back on my good side now. So 22-23 down one here, just about 10 minutes or so remaining here in the second quarter.
Another rebound by Chuck Bloom there.
Yep, my Chuck Bloom with another rebound. Michael Martin off range with that three. LB getting down defense. That's gonna be big for us too all year long as well. These rookies.
Absolutely. As you see the team really running now, trying to take it to the pros with some speed as Nelson hits another shot, for 2.
And Steven, he's good for the putback at every opportunity as well. That's there's a lot of moving pieces this year for the Instigators. I think that's making it an issue. Even though the score doesn't necessarily resemble it at this moment, it is a 1 point game. I think that makes it an issue for the Louisville Pros, who don't seem to have that many players. I believe they had 8 or 9 on the court that game.
Yeah.
And the pressure tends to usually wear down an opponent um, if they're not conditioned for that kind of game. And so, again, just fell down. But now we're trailing again by 1. But it just feels like those kind of moments that, especially throughout the season, when the season gets long and you're playing those 20 games throughout the regular season, um, that plays
Good
to our
hustle there, but
advantage.
a timeout by Coach Dobbs. So we're going to take a break with this timeout while the Instigators regroup. So will we, and we'll see you back after this break. Hey fans, it's Frosty, co-owner of the Hoosier State Instigators. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, but I want to take just a few seconds to let you know about our fan voter tier on our Patreon. There you can find all kinds of cool stuff like behind the scenes footage of practices and tryouts, early access to games and podcasts, and much, much more. On top of that, you become an official fan voter of the Hoosier State Instigators, where you can make key decisions in running the franchise. Things such as what uniforms do we wear, who stays, who goes at the end of the season, evaluate the players and coaches, and make decisions that will impact this franchise for a long time. So this is your chance to get off the bleachers and into the boardroom with us, the Hoosier State Instigators, at www.patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. Hope to see you there. Going back to your point a little bit about running, welcome back, everybody, as we're about to get out of this commercial or this timeout break. One of the things I liked is I talked to Coach Dobbs that, maybe we didn't have a whole lot of last year. She definitely has her groupings based on skills. So she has her running team, she has her big team, she has her defensive team, she's got her starters. So she's got some groups put together for specific situations. And I think we're seeing one of those groups right now that are starting to kind of take over some of the momentum. As we see the missed shot, but 2 follow-ups later, third chance, and AB puts the ball in the bucket as we get a stoppage here as the coach for the pros apparently has a couple questions for the ref. Seems like everything's going to get going, though, and we'll get back underway here.
Yeah, I mean, and that shot right there, that shot by Steve, I'll take that shot all day long. The buzzer's going. You've got only 4 seconds to get that shot off, and it's about trusting your guys. You're either making that shot or you're expecting your guys to crash and get those second chance, and that's exactly what Chuck and AB did. So I mean, I like there.
Absolutely, and I told you we're close to the court. We just saw a ball fly by out of the crowd.
Yeah,
right by our camera. So I hope those kids are having fun. It certainly sounds like it.
and a great dish by Steve to LB. And look at that. That's 2 rookies right there connected early on. Big 3 right there. And those sort of plays right there are momentum shifters too. They really make you have to respond instead of play your own game. As you see the pros, they try and drive in and get a 2. They go for a 3.
Ooh, what a bucket.
If you run that back, it looks as if they shouldn't have taken that shot. They make it, so you got to
off
give
of
credit
1
where
foot
credit's
fading
due.
away like that. That was an excellent shot by
That
Damo.
was an excellent shot.
LB
And
hits another 3.
followed up by another 3 by LB. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see the development of these rookies. As Steven Rogers
Blocked
goes
by
up for
Steve
a
Rogers leads to another
big
quick basket, it looks like. And 1.
yeah, and 1 assist by another rookie. Man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the depth and the defense, as we touched base early in the pregame, those are the 2 key factors for me. I think for the offense has been there. We've always been able to, for the most part, we've always been able to get the offense steaming. Whether we keep it there or not during the inaugural season was the blessing or the curse, But I believe or depth at bench over there down to the starting five, whichever they may be for that specific game. Um, I'm just so excited about the depth that we have.
Yeah, it was definitely a weak spot for us last year. We mostly played 7 or 8 guys as much as we could, and then the other, 4 or 5 guys were fillers. This year, I feel like we have 12 and even more than 12, honestly, some guys that didn't get the opportunity to dress that maybe will in future games
Yeah.
that are really going to play valuable minutes for the Instigators. I don't expect us to have a lot of guys playing 40 minutes a game or 35 minutes a game or 32 minutes a game like they did last year. Hopefully everyone's in that 20 to 25 minute range. They're all fresh and playing their best when it matters.
Yep, absolutely.
As AB goes take his first free throw. Need one to go in that counts. Here we go. I even saw the game footage beforehand, but I forgot which one was going. I didn't know it wasn't going in,
I'm so in the moment watching this. There's certain moments I'm like, I know I've seen that, but I do not remember it that way.
I know. Inbound here as the ball went on bounds off the pros. Chuck looking for an outlet. He finds Caleb Magruder making his debut as an Instigator, another rookie. That's the count it 4th or 5th rookie for the Instigators tonight playing in this game. So we got a young team with some veterans ready to go to the next level.
Oh, absolutely. And scoreboard's indicating a great run by the Instigator so far. Currently up by 11, as that one will be rebounded.
He gets mugged there and down low. He got mugged.
They were working with more hands than the glove company, I will say. But nevertheless, there goes LB up to the basket. AB go up and we will call on that one, as that will send AB to the line now. So maybe it was a foul, maybe it wasn't that last sequence, but this one definitely is, as the Instigators headline here, looking to make it a 10-point game. AB off the mark yet again. And you know what, Alex, I love you, buddy.
Yeah, free throws already playing an issue. We didn't see it earlier, but I believe Chuck Bloom missed one as well in the first 5 minutes of the game. Went 1 for 2. As AB finally hits one, that gives him 7 points here in the second quarter.
Yeah, man. Currently up by 9 as the Louisville Pros, they start to inbound the ball. And the pressure by LB all court long. And
another turnover by the Pros.
LB, he's so shifty with the tips. And look at that. That's a highlight right there. At LB to AB.
It's 9 points now for AB.
There's the bench over there gets hype. That's what I'm saying. It's the team within the team,
That's right. Love to see the energy on the bench this year.
Absolutely is.
As LB bats the ball off the inbounder to get the turnover and throws a quick pass in. Man, LB's all over the court early in this game.
Jeff said, bam, bangs it in.
As Nelson hits a 3.
15-point lead here. While the Louisville Pros, they've only scored 30.
So the hustle and tempo and aggression have definitely picked up here in the second quarter by the Instigators, and it's really serving them well.
Absolutely.
As LB is going to sub out, Caleb's going to move over to the on-bound person. We're going to get Rico Spikes, the fans' man, enters the game here in the second quarter.
Look at that. The fan voter is dictating the future of the Hoosier State Instigators. Live in action. Become a fan voter today by subscribing to Patreon at www.patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. And you can help call the shot of our franchise as well. Your franchise, I should say. The Hoosier State Instigators. And
yeah, that's
actually,
right.
There is a cool new update about our Patreon as well, too. Corey, if you'd like to tell the fans more about that as well.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. I'm just enthralled with this action. I got to be honest with you. seeing the fans man out there, seeing him really play some defense to help us out here. Obviously, a great pick by the fans here.
And there is a bit of a spoiler on our show, actually, that I just thought about in post. With the ticker down there in the bottom of the screen, for those of you fans that are looking at the power rankings, it's a little Easter egg.
Nelson with another 3. That's in and out. Unfortunately, doesn't fall for us. Up 15 here are the Instigators. AB takes a little bit of a bump, but the bucket goes in on the other side. Good recovery there by Nelson, looking for another 3. Fortunately, that bounces out as well. But Chuck Bloom, of course, there to clean up the glass. Down low to Nelson. Gets fouled. He'll go to the line. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm told that Levante is a good free throw shooter. So let's see how that looks. While he's doing that, I'll get back to our new feature on Patreon that you mentioned earlier. So for a lot of our votes, we've had, fans and family ask, hey, I really want to vote on this one, but I don't know that I have the $10 a month to vote. So some of our posts now will be open up. The fans man vote was one of them. For $3 a post, you can post, you can see posts that are previously locked behind the paywall for fan voters only. And so each week, as we pick the fans man, that one will be one for sure. That if you want to make sure your favorite player gets in, but you only have $3, make sure you get your vote in.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to hop into the into those unlockable posts more than anything. Obviously, we try to make it as balanced as we can to be able to give the public content as well. But it's always better to be in the exclusive groups to be able to get the exclusive behind the scenes content, the franchise moving pieces, the votes that matter. All of those things that we wound up here in Fisher. That's how we wound up as a franchise in general. Down to the jerseys, down to the logo, down to the name, down to the location, down to the rotation now. So you definitely want to become a fan voter and enjoy the rest of those perks as well. However, as far as you mentioned, for $3 a month for a specific post, or for $3 a post, I should say, rather than per month. You get a piece of that feeling as well, which again is one of the most unique parts about this franchise, about any franchise related to the Apex Athletic Collective. And again, as we see a sponsor logo pop up in the top right, we want to say thank you to our official sponsor, Fisher's Cryotherapy. And we almost get the steal right on that one. Would have been a perfect setup for that.
Caleb goes up and makes sure that one doesn't get turned over, and then unfortunately almost throws it away himself there.
Dylan Ware, he works his way out. He gets the ball out to Caleb, and that one's just off the rim.
Off the pros, though, and the Instigators will keep the ball. You know what I really like about the pay for post is I know not everyone can commit to the $120 a year, of being a fan voter. But we want to make sure that we open up votes to people who really know the Instigators, know the players, and care about it. So people can't flood with a bunch of bots in our votes with this system, but allows those most passionate and most knowledgeable fans a voice in the franchise, which is what we've envisioned from day one. So I'm happy to see it. As Caleb misses the dunk. That's going on the missed dunk counter.
Yep.
Rico misses the layup there. Unfortunately, just he and Malcolm were both really aggressive for it as the pros now start to close the lead a little bit, back down to 12 as we get a turnover by Chuck and a 3D. Goes up, misses, but Chuck's called for the foul. I don't know about that foul.
Yeah. You know, ref called it. Ref called it.
You're right.
And,
You're right.
I've been working on my P.
No, that's good. You know, one day the ABA might introduce fines to owners for talking ill of the refs, so we got to be prepared.
Yeah. I you know, I will reserve the ref called it. Doing his job perfectly well, fine, and he is the professional and the official. And as
That's
that
right.
official helps that fan on the sidelines pick up their snack.
Don't want to lose your game day snacks. So thank you to the official there for helping that little fan out.
And Louisville Pros put in a box right there by Dylan Ware. And that ball stolen. But again, just getting a little bit too far ahead of our stuff, you know, and some of these transitions. Look at the defense right there, though. Everybody's and that's one
Absolutely. We're
thing.
definitely seeing ups and downs from our rookies. A lot of really good things and more turnovers than we'd like. As Dylan Ware gets hit with a technical foul for hanging on the rim.
That's a bit excessive, but the official call.
That was a terrible call.
That
Dylan
was a bit
just
excessive.
protecting
You
himself.
gotta remember that we are putting on an entertainment aspect for the fans as well. You know, it is a show. They are showmen. They are athletes, professional athletes. But it is when you get a dunk like that, a wide open transition, nobody around you, and he didn't do nothing too flashy, two-hander, and just,
Yeah, he didn't pull himself up. He clearly just held on long enough to make sure his feet would hit the ground, which is perfectly
he's a
legal.
tall man.
Why though? They missed both free throws, and we'll go back to the game as scheduled.
Dylan Ware, we'll take that every day, even though it still took away 5 points from you on the fantasy score this week as well. But I'll take that every day. I'll take it every day.
So we see the pros trying to get a bucket here, moving the ball well. The pros are really good. They play great team basketball. Get open shots as we saw there. Just didn't. It's not falling for them this quarter.
Yeah.
Another steal there by Rico / Dylan. Take your pick. We'll see another foul call and a turnover by the Instigators. Lots of really good highs, lots of lows here. The Instigators, as you'll remember, had 18 points going into this quarter. And I've already cracked the 50 mark, on pace to go over 100 now. As we get another foul called on the Instigators. So Damo will go to the free throw line, shooting 2. Or sorry, shooting 1. He made the bucket. So Louisville claws back within 11, refusing to go away. JoJo Hart back in the game. He gets fouled. Got a slight delay here as the ball escaped the court. We'll get Chuck Bloom to inbound it here. And no, we'll get a media timeout. So we'll head to a commercial break, and we'll be back right after this. right, we're coming out of the media timeout here. Instigators up 11 here in the second quarter. What have you seen here in the second quarter that's kind of led to this turnaround for the Instigators, who were down 5 at the end of the first? All right, as we see, I see a message here that apparently Jay needed to use the restroom. So flying solo for a minute. I apologize to everyone who has to hear that. But to answer my own question, the Instigators have clearly stepped it up on defense, but also really worked to get good shots and transition offense to get some quick buckets. Got them this lead here by 11. But as we know, it's turned into a little bit of a foul fest here. 11 fouls in the quarter between the two teams. As we see great defense there by JoJo Hart. But look at that quick up court pass by Dylan to Malcolm Martin, who hits the easy bucket. That's the kind of offense we're seeing more and more here in the second quarter, and hope continues as the Instigators stretch their lead to 13. 3-point attempt by the Pros doesn't go, but Malcolm Martin with the rebound. Thought he got fouled there. The refs didn't call it, though, and probably a good no call there as Rico Spikes hits the bucket and the and one, and we'll go to the line. So the fans, man, coming through here as we look to expand this lead here, now up 15 with about a minute to go here in the second quarter. Both teams now at 6 fouls, as we all know. Or if you don't know, if you're new to the ABA, free throws after the 7th foul. So both teams in danger of going into the bonus. Something that doesn't happen a lot in the ABA, I got to be honest with you. So we'll see if it's a fate that both of these teams can avoid. Rico Spikes looks to complete the and one. He misses there, but still got the really tough bucket to go in, extending the Instigators' lead to 15, I'm sorry, here and as we close out the first half. So there's a foul there by the Instigators, as the Pros will take 2 free throws here. And that's Bibb to the line, number 5 there for the Pros, taking 2 free throws after being fouled in the paint. JoJo Hart comes out. Looks like Caleb Magruder checks in, number 98 here. With his back to us, closest to the shooter. So he hits the second shot there to put the Pros within 14. Again, the Pros started up 5 to start this quarter. But unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, the Instigators have really turned it on as Malcolm Martin hits a 2. That's a 2. Reminder, the black line and the white line. But still valuable points for the Instigators nonetheless. Good shot by Malcolm. A kickball violation there by Chuck Bloom as the ball runs away down the court again. About to be inbounded by McGregor here, number 0. Sorry, we'll get a timeout by the Pros with just about 30 seconds to go in the game. We'll be back right after this.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
All right, so we're back here. Pros down 16. As we are about to end the first half here in a couple possessions or so. Instigators looking to close out the second quarter like they started it, which is red hot. 12 seconds to go, so this is probably the final possession if the Pros take their time. And that is a turnover. As the referees look to be discussing the situation. All right, so it looks like they're going to reset the Pros here inbounding the ball. As, McGregor will switch out for Damo Williams here as they look to inbound, get the last bucket of the half. Good work by the Instigators. Unfortunately, Dylan's just a little high for Caleb Magruder there with the time ticking down. Damo with the long distance three to end the half. He hits it. And that'll take us to halftime. Instigators up 13, 57-44. We'll be back right after this for our halftime show. Hey fans, it's Frosty, co-owner of the Hoosier State Instigators. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, but I want to take just a few seconds to let you know about our fan voter tier on our Patreon. There you can find all kinds of cool stuff like behind the scenes footage of practices and tryouts, early access to games and podcasts, and much, much more. On top of that, you become an official fan voter of the Hoosier State Instigators, where you can make key decisions in running the franchise. Things such as what uniforms do we wear, who stays, who goes at the end of the season, evaluate the players and coaches, and make decisions that will impact this franchise for a long time. So this is your chance to get off the bleachers and into the boardroom with us, the Hoosier State Instigators, at www.patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. Hope to see you there.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
Welcome to the halftime show. We're here back with Jake in the studio, as they say in places that have actual studios. What'd you guys think of the first half?
I'll let Jake take the floor for this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're finally back in action. See the Instigators on the court officially for the second ABA season. Every time we play the Pros, it's always a very physical game, back and forth. And we saw that in that first quarter. The Pros were ahead at the end of that. But the second quarter, it seemed like we made some adjustments and things started to finally click. And now we're at half out in front.
Yeah, exactly. I think you said it best. It's always a physical game against the Pros. For some of our newer fans, kind of just some history on that matchup. They are a former divisional opponent of ours, and we split our regular season series with them last year, 1-1. So this is the rubber match, so to say, and obviously our season opener. So a lot on the line for this one on both teams. Neither of them wanting to give this one up. So I think time for a big second half from both sides of the court. Something just to touch base on is the fact that the Louisville Pros again were a team that we had to face off against all season long and almost face off against in that final game of the play-in tournament. So this is a very deep team for those, again, newcomers, or for those that just wanted a refresh the inaugural season last year as well. So I'm on the edge of my seat for the second half personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to the pros. They play hard, and we talked about that at the top of the broadcast.
Mm.
When they make shots, they are deadly, and we saw them start to heat up there in the first quarter and a little bit there at the end of the second quarter as well. So I know they're not a team that's going to go away lightly. But who impressed you the most? We'll start with you, Jake. Who impressed you the most there in the first half?
I think the guy that stood out to me, he's a team captain from last year, is Chuck Bloom. Um, those cool new graphics, upgrading our broadcast for this season. But Chuck started off and he kind of when we were struggling in the beginning, he was the guy that kind of got things rolling. So he's always kind of been that rock for the team, both offensively and defensively. He's a very reliable guy, always there for rebound, second chance opportunities. But he's one of the players that stood out to me in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about it during the game as well, but man, does he fill up the stat box. He hits them all, right? Blocks, rebounds, assists, steals. He doesn't care. So what about for you, Jay? Who stood out for you?
My standout player for the first half would be Malcolm Martin. One of those guys that, again, as we on in the pregame, looking forward to seeing how he was able to translate that game into NBA play. He's really at 100% from 2-point range right now, making every single one of his buckets, and it's not as if he's only you know, taking one or two shots throughout the game so far. So, um, when he's seeing them, he's hitting them, and so that would be my standout for the first half is Malcolm Martin. Um, I love when a guy is putting out has that kind of output and then cashing in on. Can't never knock that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a rookie too, right? This is his
Yeah,
first ABA game, so
yeah.
it's cool to see that. And so yeah, I thought he played well. For me, it's LB Lawrence Boyd. Lawrence is the youngest player on the team for the Instigators this year, I think. But so far he's got 6 points, hit 2 threes, but it's not his scoring. Although I know he's capable of scoring. That
Mhm.
really impressed me. It's really everything else. His hustle on defense, looking for passes to get to people, right?
Mhm.
Trying to get rebounds as well. Like he just is all over the court. Somebody that pops out to me in that first half. I expect and hope to see him take over in the second half. But congrats for me for LB. I thought he was incredible, and so we saw a second half first quarter where we scored 18 points. Second quarter we scored 39 points. Obviously, a big increase there. Ended up with 57 points for the half. Jake, what did you see out there in that second quarter that really led to this big offensive explosion by the Instigators there in the second quarter?
I mean, we've got some shots to fall. That first quarter, we were shooting. I think a little bit of the first game jitters, as you guys mentioned in the broadcast. You kind of got to get settled into the game. Once you catch into that game flow, then things kind of slow down. Shots start falling, and then obviously, I think our defense also really picked up at that point as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I saw is a lot more urgency with the team, but it was controlled urgency to your point, right? In the
Yeah.
first quarter, there was a little bit of urgency with a lot of turnovers kind of coming with it. Saw a little bit less of that in the second quarter, as well as some fast break points that we didn't get hardly any of in the first quarter. So for me, I think that's huge. But the defense was stifling there in that second quarter. So what'd you see, Spacely?
Yeah, you just said it. Just pressuring down in the paint. I can't think of any sequence that went on throughout the second quarter specifically where you didn't see guys in white jerseys with red instigators up at the boards anytime somebody was attacking a layup, and that turned into that transition offense. That was quick break where that big play where Dylan, where he happened to get that technical. I mean, wide open, nobody in his area code at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So that comes with defense. You know, it creates offense. That's how you win those games on the stretch. And as you could see, we were down, I believe 5, right?
Yeah.
Going into the first or into the second, and you know that lead swapped hands and ballooned. I believe a lot of that comes down off the pressure of our defense in that quarter. And again, credit to Coach Dobbs for noticing those flaws in the Louisville Pros and being able to put the right rotations on the floor at those times to be able to kind of maximize those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And, hopefully we see more of that in the second half, right? Some of that
Yeah.
intense pressure on defense, but also looking for fast break opportunities, but slowing down when we need to on
Mhm.
offense in that second half. But let's kick it back out to the game and to us, Jay, as we talk more about the game as well. But we'll see you at the end of the game to break it all down. So until then, let's go Instigators. All right, we're back underway here in the second half. Instigators in their home opener against the Louisville Pros, up 13, 57-44 here at the start of the third quarter. Before we go too far, Spacely, I just want to take a minute and shout out Stunna boy Kevin Cameron, who's not dressing tonight for the Instigators, but is down low doing all kinds of awesome videography for us, posting a lot of it on his social media, on his YouTube. If you get a chance, check it out. Really appreciate the effort and the work he's doing to hype the crowd and get us some awesome action shots from the floor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, got the chance to see a few of those clips, obviously ahead of the public, and now the public gets the chance to see that as well. If you go and visit his YouTube channel, you can find that in our Discord channel. If you guys are in the Apex Athletic community over there, Apex Athletic Collective community, I should say. A lot of words rolling off at once while I'm trying to watch the Instagrams go up by 15. As Magruder, he gets down there and he puts this man in a box too, right there, as he takes a fairly contested shot. He misses it, and that goes into the hands of the Instigators. And they'll have the chance to keep going as Martin gets that ball out to Magruder. Malcolm gets the ball down low to Chuck, and Chuck makes easy work out of that one as well. Down low. Up by 17 here to start the third.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm impressed. Caleb there with the defense, like you said. One of the things we talked about and our fan voters said when they filled out the postseason evaluation of the team and the franchise, so we need to figure out how to get more defense. And I think we've seen that with LB, we've seen that with Steve, seen that with Malcolm, and we've seen that now with Caleb. So definitely a point of emphasis for us this year. Thanks to the fans for pointing that out to us. So that we could get the right players in place and knew what we were looking for.
Absolutely. And is there any possibility we could run a sequence back right quick? Because watching this game for the first time, that specific play that I just seen by Malcolm, that steal,
Yeah,
is an incredible moment. He ran up to the floor, stuck his hands out as if he was a pros player, and the pros player he tossed the ball out. Obviously, it looked as if he was going to go to his man, but the one of his teammate trailing wasn't there in time. But Malcolm basically forced him into just passing his opponent the ball, you know. And it comes down for an easy steal for Malcolm Martin, turned into a
it gets another
bucket.
steal there, and then we get the half-court alley-oop from Chuck Bloom.
Big dunk
Dylan
by
Ware.
oh man, big dunk by Dylan Ware. Beware, beware. I'm telling you guys, don't let him fly through the transition like that. He will do that to you every day. You will end up on our YouTube. You will end up on a poster, possibly some banners. And it's just try and guard a guy like Beware one time. You know,
It's something
Dylan
we saw
Ware.
pretty often last year. So
Oh, yeah.
no surprise here, but always exciting when we see it again.
Always, always. I remember I asked him one time, I said, "Man, so you ever going to teach me how to dunk?" He said plyometrics, and I don't think that's it. I'm to be
That was in
honest
one of
with
our
you.
first podcasts where they brought that up. Him and AB
Yeah,
both.
yeah, plyometrics. Yeah, it's definitely not the 6'7" frame or 7-foot frame or nothing. That
Yeah,
I
I gotta
mean,
believe that helps.
yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure plyometrics helps as well, but you know, um, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that personally. We need a little bit more
JoJo
than
with the
that.
miss three there. Something you don't see often from JoJo is a catch and shoot miss.
No,
He's pretty deadly generally from there. The
yeah,
Instigators
and
now
I
have
think
opened up, by the way,
I
at
think I'm
21-point lead after this bucket. Nostra Frosty gets it right.
big bucket by Martin too. As he keeps up his streak too, he's still 100% in the point range right now for Malcolm Martin.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, JoJo
He's the
Hart.
Jared Goff of the Instigators.
He's the Jared Goff of the Instigators. except for we want to get a ring. Um, boy, he
LB
goes
with
up
the
for a
three. We
three.
know he's deadly from there, and he puts it in. It's the high
Nothing but
five from
net.
Dylan Ware. Great shot.
Yeah, that was a tremendous shot. Great spacing, and he just drains it.
Absolutely. And just a quick reminder, we didn't see it because we were doing our halftime show, but in the gym, they honored, as LB gets fouled there, almost gets the and one. Honored the Stites family, the sponsors of this game. This game is brought to you by the Stites family. Again, family of Lance Hopkins pulled together and said, hey, we want to sponsor the team and support Lance and his teammates. And thank you to them for that. As we hit our first break here, as we get a timeout. So we'll be back right after this with more Instigators action. Hey fans, it's Frosty, co-owner of the Hoosier State Instigators. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, but I want to take just a few seconds to let you know about our fan voter tier on our Patreon. There you can find all kinds of cool stuff like behind the scenes footage of practices and tryouts, early access to games and podcasts, and much, much more. On top of that, you become an official fan voter of the Hoosier State Instigators, where you can make key decisions in running the franchise. Things such as what uniforms do we wear, who stays, who goes at the end of the season, evaluate the players and coaches, and make decisions that will impact this franchise for a long time. So this is your chance to get off the bleachers and into the boardroom with us, the Hoosier State Instigators, at www.patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. Hope to see you there. All right, so LB getting ready to take these two free throws here as we see a handsome man walking by in the front row.
Where? Oh, yeah. As LB hits his free throw right there. On to another topic. As LB misses that one. How you feeling about this so far, as in terms of the overall rotations that Coach Dobbs has been able to put out on the floor? What do you think about this specific rotation?
I like this rotation a lot. It carries a lot of speed with it
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of fierce defense, right? You have you have height and Dylan, but you also have five guys that can run the floor, handle the ball, and have vision. So all five of them are a threat to take the ball from you, to make the right pass, or to make the shot. So this is in my opinion, one of the toughest lineups to deal with for the Instigators. And you better have your wind about you, or they're going to run right by you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you can't make any lazy pass either. Because you got guys that will hawk down from anywhere. JoJo specifically, he's been one of those ball hawking kind of guys for the Instigators all season long. Last year during the inaugural season, And obviously, even throughout the IBL Pro-Am League as well. And you kind of seen a little bit of it from JoJo here early on today too, as
Oh my gosh, how did that
LB
go?
makes.
Sorry, but how did that go in?
That's what we
LB with
like to
his
call
third
a
straight
shooter's
three-pointer
roll.
to start this game or this
That's
half.
when the rim really likes you at a venue. If that's why me personally, back in my hooping days, I walk up and talk to the rim a little bit before the game. Not really, but I probably should have.
And Dylan with another dunk.
Because I've never treated a rim like that in my life either. So,
I do want to remind fans, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube, which you're watching this on, please do before you leave and sign up to get notifications. We drop highlight film of every game, so you can go back and rewatch it in all of its glory after spending 2 hours with us here watching it on this broadcast. And even better, make sure you subscribe to our Patreon and get notified when live streams come up of the game, so you can watch it in live action if you can't make it all the way to the facility.
Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere around the world at any time. Well, while it's broadcasting live, you gotta watch it live. But anytime after that, you watch the rebroadcast and you just sit there and smile and watch the Instigators go up by now 27 points here in the third quarter. 27 in the third. We were down by 5 going into the second.
And some folks forgot to count. That was a 3D earlier. So there's an extra free throw here. That's the confusion there. Some newer players maybe forgetting the 3D rule. Now we'll get the extra free throw right here from McGregor. That goes in. And we get a substitution here as Chuck comes out and Steve Rogers checks into the game. Captain America, as we say. I haven't called him Captain America enough in this broadcast. It's opening night for us too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of Captain America, what a pass and then a shot by JoJo. JoJo's very underrated on those tough layups down low. He shows he can bang in there with the best of them and still get the bucket.
Oh yeah. JoJo is like a linebacker on a basketball court for me.
Yeah.
He just man, he puts his body out there. He's there to fight for the guys. And again, you make a lazy pass around JoJo, and he's taking that from you all day, every day. Number one on the court, number one in your heart. JoJo Hart as Steve Rodgers with the first. I believe that's his first bucket, isn't it? Is that not his first points?
I think those might have been his first points. Yes. No, he had 2 points in the second quarter.
Oh, okay. Well, still a great catch and shoot from Steve right there, Captain America, and there he is too. Look at, man, Steve. He's been doing everything right. I said this to you off camera, but he's done everything right in this game. He's everywhere you need to be, and he's filling those gaps. He's playing. He's getting those putbacks. And again, there he is there for a box out, gets the ball over to Dylan. And that was one of my favorite scheme that we were discussing leading into the preseason, or leading throughout the preseason, I should say, is getting Dylan and Steven together on a court. They play very similarly, in my opinion. They have obviously their own quirks, in their own game, but they play fairly similar, which is kudos to Steve, because Dylan obviously coming off of he's got ABA All-Star experience as well alongside of Alex, and I think that's going to be big as Boyd gets a big buzzer beater too. Buzzer beater 3, and could have possibly been an and one. However, again,
what a half LB's having this quarter.
Yeah, no joke. the season he's having this quarter. Man, dude. Yeah, dude, as he puts another three, that
That was a
one
little bit of
off
a
the
heat
mark.
check. A little bit of a
That
heat
was a
check.
heat check moment. He's still sizzling a little bit too, though. That's a
Yeah, that's right.
that was a big play though, as the whistle blows. But that was you love to see the fight down low like that. You know, something
Yeah,
we touched
absolutely.
base on during halftime. Just love to see those guys getting to the board and not just being the expected players. You're expecting that nowadays. You expect that as an Instigators fan from a guy like Alex, from a guy like Dylan, from Chuck. But to see it from a rookie, this is his debut or their debuts. Not even Captain America, not even just Steve, but every single player that's gotten into this game so far. Um, they've made their presence felt on that Louisville Pros team as
A-
we've taken this
Absolutely.
lead up to 28 here.
Absolutely. And while we're in this media timeout here, rather than going to commercial break, I actually just noticed as I was reading the fantasy leaderboard, make sure
Mhm.
you sign up next week to participate.
Yeah,
But the Mississippi Lucky Ducks are in there. Mississippi Lucky Ducks are
yeah,
another ABA franchise. So shout
yeah,
out to them for
yeah. That's awesome,
participating in
ain't
our
it, dude?
fantasy.
That's so sweet. It's awesome. I was noticing that today when I was putting together the new sticker, and I was like, that's freaking cool. I'm glad you touched on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
definitely
to the
love.
Mickey Ducks.
There's so many great franchises across the ABA. ABA has over 160 teams across the nation. And
Yeah,
there's so many great people that we've met that just want to support each other and love basketball. The Mississippi Lucky Ducks are definitely one of the
yeah,
awesome franchises in this league.
absolutely.
As
Nice jabs.
Levante Nelson's back in the game, he takes a three. It doesn't go in. Ball goes way up, and Captain America leaps like a superhero and gets the rebound. I've
Put
been
on
waiting to do that one all game. I have it written down on my hand so I don't forget it.
his big block by LB right there. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Steve with the miss, but he gets his own rebound, puts it right back in.
Yes, sir. And these guys, again, debut games for these guys. Alex Brown, he's been around, but Alex Brown getting it down low, gets the ball back into the hands of the Instigators as JoJo goes up for a bucket. He's off mark, and the Pros will take that back up.
One of the things that's really stood out to me in this game, to be honest, is they missed the shot there. Sorry, went off camera. Is the Instigators have built up, or they made the shot. Sorry, it's a 27-point lead here, and Alex Brown and Dylan Ware, while both have played well and played significant minutes, neither has had to shoulder the load alone. There's been a lot of
Yeah,
folks that have been productive tonight.
absolutely.
Alex obviously had nearly had a double-double in the first half, and is now back in the game playing to the all-star level that he does, but isn't having to play 35, 40 minutes a game to keep the Instigators in it, which is nice to see some of these other players stepping up and really playing significant minutes for the Instigators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, a credit again to every one of these rookies, for coming in, showing up, and just balling out. And look at that play. That's a massive play right there. No matter the score right there, as you've seen, it just got every one of those Instigators players on the court locked in. They were so intense after that three by JoJo that it creates plays like these again right there. Down low
Another
in the
assist by
basket
LB there.
at the bucket, puts it up, and then the score is up by 30 now. That's almost half the points that the Pros have scored altogether.
Yeah,
As
that's good math.
defense. As defense, that's that's what you get from me, buddy. That's that's to be expected, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, We got about 3 minutes to go here. I think I saw the clock said. Apologies, it's not on the scoreboard tonight. But the Instigators up 30. Do have some fouls here, but not a big deal. AB's talking to the ref, wondering what that foul call was, getting some clarity. As we see a substitution here, 2 substitutions as another rookie, Caleb Magruder, checks into the game, and he's gonna play back, ready for the outlet pass should it come. Caleb brings it up here. That goes in. Sorry,
Rookie to rookie action.
31 seconds, not 3 minutes and 16 seconds. So that's good to know. Caleb almost gets the rebound, misses it. Instead, the Pros put it in. 12 seconds to go. Instigators got to hurry here if they want another bucket.
Oh, and
miscue.
Miscue, as you could tell. LB just wanted to take that one up the court. So. And I'm telling you, that AC was blowing. That's the same spot right where Lance had that same exact shot.
Yeah,
that AC. That's what I'm blaming on for us. Just a terrible shot for the Pros on that one. I'm just.
We hear the crowd getting loud there as we end the third quarter. Instigators up 28 points, 97-69. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come right back to Instigators action for sure here on the Instigators YouTube page.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
It was nice to hear that crowd get hyped as the Instigators really had a great quarter. We thought 39 points in the second quarter was really good. And what they do, they turn around and scored 40 points here in the third quarter. So terrific offensive output. Meanwhile, also just great defense all around for the Instigators. So great half. The Instigators, interesting fact, have never held a team under 100 points in an ABA game. Is tonight the night, Spacely?
Tonight might be the night. It is 97-69 right here. And as you see, a little bit of a trap up there up front for to start off the fourth quarter. Might signify a bit of pressure from the Instigators defense here. That might be their game plan as they try to feed AB up there just a little bit off the mark. And will lead to a transition play for the Pros, as that one will get a whistle.
I like that foul there by Caleb. Don't give the Pros any momentum at all. Make them earn it at the free throw line.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
This team's been terrific from the free throw line, so I like that play.
Yeah, especially where the foul count's at right here. We got some points to give at the moment. I agree. Great. I mean, great defense so far, all game long. Obviously, as you touched on earlier, kind of getting a little bit ahead of ourselves at certain points on offense, just trying to make that fast break a little too fast at times. Some little slip ups here and there, but outside of that, the defense has been spot on. Everything we could ask for from these guys so far on that end.
Yeah,
so that ball makes its way back to an Instigator's hands. That one's off the mark. Pros, though, again, the Pros are one of those teams that they just claw. They fight, and it's always been a tough matchup. One of my favorite matchups in terms of the teams that we've been able to play against so far in the ABA. Definitely
Absolutely.
One of my. It's one of those ones you see on the schedule and just wondering, okay, let's get to that day, right? Let's get to that day and let's play this game and see which one's the better one of the day. I expect respect.
quickly become one of our best rivalries, and
Yeah.
one of mutual respect. Honestly, from
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
franchises. Love
Absolutely.
playing the Pros because we know they're going to give us good game, and I know they like playing us for the same reason. So
Absolutely. It's a team I
game
would
is
expect to see in the regionals.
another block by
Absolutely.
AB. There we go.
Oh, and AB gets
AB
some hands on
foul
him as
there.
he goes up.
Yep.
And he
What do you think
says
about the call to
Marius
start
would.
the fourth quarter with the full court trap, up 28 points?
Yeah, it's interesting, but I'm actually a very big fan of that. Is because it creates a tempo. It makes the pros feel like they have to match that speed, which creates for the most times it's a double-edged sword. Don't get me wrong, because it definitely can um come around in your opponent's favor at times, but it makes them have to match that tempo where it creates those turnovers as well if they're not able to play smooth. And as you see, it's happened on a few of these sequences throughout the game. But they have the ball right here off of the inbound, and they will drive in. Jackson Stone back in the game there, but a foul called as LB goes down hard.
Yeah, it's good to see Jackson back in the game. Started the game, been out a little while, coming back in. So happy to see him in there. Hopefully he'll really help, particularly on the defensive end. I think that Jackson's an underrated defender for
Yeah,
the Instigators.
yeah, absolutely.
Missed free throw there. So yet again, another lineup that I don't think we've seen previously in this game. Out there for the
Yeah,
Instigators. A lot of versatility on this roster.
absolutely. Yeah, it's. I mean, I think the word we said the most last year, still rings true to this day. Everything is still real. Um, this franchise altogether, from even the pieces that weren't able to return for this season, um, it's just been so real. All of this, first off, that we've got from all of the new coming fans, all of the fans that have stuck around as well. It's just wild to see that we are in the fourth quarter here of the season opener for season 2. And
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't sure how season 1 was going to go, and yet we're back here for a season 2. And not only that, I don't know if you remember this. I sure do. We lost our season opener last year.
No, yeah, I remember. It.
Pretty
Yeah,
handily too.
Well, I think we lost by 8, 123, 115, I believe.
Yeah.
And
at one point we were down almost 40 points in that game, made a heck of a run, but couldn't finish it out. Let's hope the Pros don't make a heck of a run in this one, although they are a bit now. They've cut the lead down to 22.
Oh yeah, they're fighting.
As LB gets another block, that's the third of the game.
Yeah, he's been all around.
Almost got another one there.
Wow. I'm gonna give him it. That's official. Yeah, I'm gonna count that. Oh, big deal.
3 deep by Steve Rogers here. He's going for it. Doesn't go in, unfortunately, but a heck of an effort nonetheless.
Rookie debut.
You see Jackson running the court. He almost caught up. Good effort there by Jackson. Big man running the court like that. But the Pros close it down to a 20-point game, and now Lawrence Boyd is fouled crossing the half-court line.
I wish I was that fast. Man, I wish I was that. I wish I was half that fast.
You can be as fast as you want to be when you sleep tonight, man.
Yeah. I run slower in my sleep, but would you imagine that? Could you imagine that? Oh, man.
JoJo Hart checks in here for Lawrence Boyd, who is having a terrific game. Jackson would have gotten the assist there, but AB gets fouled and can't finish the shot. He'll go to the free throw line, which has tripped him up quite a bit.
Yeah, you could tell he wanted that and one bad right there. He wanted that one bad. I think he's more upset about himself and not getting ups like he's used to, But Alex Brown having a bit of issue at the line. However, showing up on every other aspect is obviously he's still producing offensively and definitely producing defensively as he will cash in one of two there. Currently up big here.
Yep. As we hit a media timeout here, we'll hit the media timeout ourselves, and we'll be back right after this with more Instigators action. All right, as we're back here, ready to resume the fourth quarter, hit the under 8 timeout, just over 8. So this happens sometimes. Just a little bit of ABA rules information for y'all. This happens sometimes when a team calls timeout close to the 8-minute break. It's awarded as a timeout, as the media timeout, not an actual timeout for the team, which is nice because the ABA only has 2 full timeouts and 1 30-second timeout per half, much less than the NBA or the NCAA.
Oh yeah. Yeah, as a way, again, new fans watching, with the ABA probably being a brand new league in general. If you're a new fan of the Instigators, some of you maybe not, obviously, but league prides itself on creating fast-paced opportunities, such as as we take a moment real quick, as that a foul on Alex Brown, I believe. The ABA prides itself on hybrid rules, as we all know, as diehards now of the ABA. The ABA was the originator of the 3-point, way
That's right.
way ahead of Steph Curry, way ahead of the NBA. And now we have such rules as the 3D rule. The new goaltending rule, which we haven't seen be put into effect, not that I've noticed, so far in
Big
this
block there by
season.
Jackson. Sorry to cut you off there. I
Big,
just want to point that out. It was a heck of a
big
block.
block by Jackson right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Big block. And now just overall, the ABA is a very hybrid league in itself, which kind of adds to the entertainment as well. It's not necessarily one of those leagues that are giving you gimmicks, but they are very hybrid rules. They are unique rules to the ABA, which makes it an exciting game to watch. As Alex Brown tries looking for a foul, doesn't get one there though, as he tries to go up for a rebound. Jackson, being a good sport, will pick up the Louisville Pros player, who I believe.
That's Jackson's 3rd foul of the game here, unfortunately. And I'm getting a little nervous going to the free throw line here. The Instigators were up 28. Now we're up 18. So the gap's closed by 10.
And they are closing in on that 100-point mark as well, as they get a little bit closer there. Good game though. Good game so far for sure. Absolutely. Again,
Yeah,
the pros.
the Instigators have scored over 100 points in all but one of their games. The one game that they didn't was that overtime loss, believe it or not, to the Louisville Pros. Only scored 98 points in that game, even with an extra 3 minutes of basketball. Jackson with another shot. This one goes in. I believe that's Jackson Stone's first bucket of the game. So a guy that really dominated during the summer league and played really well in the preseason game. Just hasn't been able to get off to quite the fast start that he's used to. Yet AB with the rebounds, and he puts it in. I do like to see this lineup with Jackson and AB together, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude. Oh yeah, that's nobody, not a single Louisville Pros player down court right there. AB
Yeah.
just standing around. That's gonna increase his overwhelmingly large lead on the record for franchise rebounds. And
Absolutely. And AB looking for a foul there. I gotta say, I gotta agree with him on that one. I thought he got
yeah,
hacked.
yeah,
As
he
Jackson
got
throws it
hacked.
to the other team. That's a 3D.
You
And
know
then
what we ought to get? There ain't no there hasn't been a sponsor or player package purchased for Alex Brown yet, so I'm gonna start lobbying that we look for some backpack company to become that sponsor, because I mean, man, some of the times he's carrying his opponents on his back the whole way through the court, and they still don't get a call. So, you know, if any
I like
team
that
would like
idea. I
or
also
any,
like the idea of a ladder company.
yeah, you know, I mean, just head over to www.apexofsports.com/sponsors and inquire if you are either a ladder or a backpack or a backpack ladder. I don't know if we just came up with that on the fly or not, but if so, we'll look into
I
it
think we
before
just
this
invented
thing gets
something new. Yeah.
broadcasted. Yeah, I think we came on to something right there, dude.
Yeah. And while we're talking about sponsors, thank you to Ryan Lucci State Farm, to Center Bank, to Evolve Sports, to Fisher's Cryotherapy, the Stites family, Nice Apparel, and Shep's Quality Construction for being partners with the Hoosier State Instigators for the 24-25 season. Literally could not do it without you. So we appreciate you all so much for
So
supporting
much.
us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Louisville Bros come down with that rebound there. They drive down the lane, but it just seems as if there's just a little bit more steam in the legs for the Instigators as they go down court. It's like we are outside of those transitions that just seem to lose possession. We've been able to kind of put the pace on these guys throughout the fourth quarter again here, as we
Yeah,
never let the lead slip too far. It's obviously
yeah.
came in with a comfortable lead into the fourth, but
We're getting into the period of the game when the Instigators are way up that I particularly worry about. And that point of the game that is what I call not basketball, where both teams are just kind of sprinting up and down, making shots, not really running their thing, their
yeah,
system, their offense. I think the Instigators play better when they're playing team basketball, and right now we're just running up and down the court, taking the first shot we get, and it's getting us into a little bit of trouble here. As all of a sudden, it's a 16-point game. Once again, the
yeah,
Instigators put up 28.
yeah, and credit again to Coach Dobbs, though. I do like the rotation with that in mind. However, it comes down to executing. The game plan still has to be executed. So, Alex obviously, didn't like that reach and foul. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I do agree with the ref right there on that one. I will say that.
Yeah, that was probably a reach.
Yeah, I
I
will.
mean, the biggest thing is you got to move your feet there. But there's an interesting little segment there as we go to a timeout that I want to talk about, where we saw McGregor kind of drawn with a fan a little bit after he hit a three, and then AB giving it right back to him after he hit the turnaround shot in the post there. So just again, an opportunity for our fans to interact floor side. You want to be Spike Lee, you want to be these celebrities that are floor side. You can do that at every Instigators basketball game. $10 online, $12 at the door for adults, and then $5 online and $7 at the door for kids. So come to an Instigators game, be that celebrity sitting courtside, and get into it with the players and jaw with them.
Yeah,
Respectfully, of course, but have a unique experience that you can't really get anywhere else.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and again, as you touch base too, this is a family-friendly event. Bring your children, and during that time, a tradition of the Instigators that we started from our very first opening day game. Bring your children out to the game, and during that time, get on the court, play, shoot around, have some fun, enjoy the moment. As we try to provide the best entertainment around in the area of Fishers and around the world as well. As that bucket rolls in for the pros, this game's getting a little close.
Another
16,
3D turnover here.
16, and as you touched, that was a 3D play right there. The ABA, 16 points is 16 points. It's not a insurmountable lead by any means. It could slip very, very quickly. As you said, there was moments where the Instigators last season were down 40 and claw back, um, or up 20 and lose the lead, or so the ABA with all of their hybrid rules, there's opportunities for these guys to be able to really click right here and take this game right back away from the Instigators.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the 3D rule, one that is highlighted in our video explaining the rules. We've talked about a couple of times, but when you try those long passes and they don't work out, the other team gets a bonus point for every one they put in, and those add up very quickly. As we saw against the Shuckers, to our benefit, honestly, one of the reasons we pulled away from the Shuckers in the second half was we were able to cause so many turnovers in the backcourt and then capitalize on them. We're seeing the pros do that a little bit here in this game.
Yep. Yep, and again, that comes down to the veteran experience, having those players on our roster here to be able to kind of translate that to the rookies that are more adjusted to the traditional basketball that you would be used to in the NBA, or on the collegiate levels. So some of those things that kind of just touch base on, obviously throughout practices and throughout the summer league and all that. As Jackson goes up for another shot, he hits those. That one right there, that's a great shot, Jackson. That's
that
sits right
normally goes
above.
in. He's really struggling. There's a little bit of a lid on the bucket for him. He's now 1 of 7 shooting in the game.
Yeah,
For a guy that normally shoots 60% from 2-point range.
Mm-hmm. And again, this is still game one for for the ABA season. That is, so you're gonna take those here and there. As Jackson goes up for another one right there.
And over the back call there on Chuck Bloom.
Yeah.
Chuck's gotten called with 2 of those now. As we get a timeout from the Louisville Pros, we're going to take our last commercial break of the night, unless we go into overtime, obviously. But we'll be back right after this with more Instigators basketball.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
So the Louisville Pros are in the bonus now, as that Chuck Bloom over the back was the 7th foul of the quarter for the Instigators. So they will take the free throws here, try to close that gap even further. That's now down to 11 points. Once again, the Instigators started up 28 points in this quarter.
Yeah. Credit again to the Louisville Pros, just fighting to stay in this game right here, trying to take the lead back. They're going to have to still do a lot more work, obviously, as the time is ticking down. But they are now one free throw away from cutting this down to a single-digit deficit. And there it is. It's a 9-point game, just like that. Just like that, the Louisville Pros
over 2 minutes to go here. It's closed up. It's now a game.
Oh, yeah. As Malcolm gets He gets some hand on him as he tries to cut through a lane there. And that will take the Pros to 16 fouls here in this quarter. And LB will drive in. Up and off. Put back by Dylan Ware. Oh, that one would have been.
Oh, and then a turnover.
No.
Just a sloppy possession from the Instigators.
But a great
As they call
transition defense.
goaltending.
Mm.
Goaltending on Dylan Ware and are going to give the bucket to the Pros.
Yeah.
That's not a goaltending.
Yeah, it's
So there's some discussion going both ways here. The referee's talking to the scorers table. Shout out to Brandon Smith and Venice Brown and our own Jakey Muffins for running the scorers table tonight.
one thing I would like to petition to the ABA eventually is the replays aren't a thing in the ABA at the moment. And respectfully, I can stand with our league and be okay with that temporarily. However, I would like the option to be made available for teams that do live broadcasts and things along those lines, like we do. Because even just something simple as a tablet over there by the scorers table to just run back certain moments, key moments in games like these, if they come down to the stretch, every possession matters right here. It's a 7-point game right now, with time taking
Well,
down.
you know me, I don't like challenges because if my team loses, I like to be able to blame somebody other than the players. But I do like your idea because it may encourage other teams to start live streaming their games as well, which would be a boost to the entire league. So I like that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all we're about here with the Instigators is really being able to first and foremost provide the most entertaining experience for our fans, but to be innovative, to be creative, to test the norm. That's what the Apex Athletic Collective does. And if there's a way that we can provide that to where it expands to the league, that's what we're all about. We've noticed it even with the with Instigate Success building an ABA franchise, our official podcast. There's a lot of teams caught on to that, and they started doing that as well, which is awesome. We love to watch other franchises engage with their fans and kind of tank together and create that experience league wide. So
absolutely
7-point game here with the time ticking down on the shot clock. Chuck Bloom, he'll put that up. He'll get fouled on the way up. And now the Pros.
Boy, are these free throws important. The Instigators have not been great shooting free throws, but they need some here.
Pros send us in the bonus here. So this might be the time. 113, 106. These are pivotal free throws from our captain, Chuck Bloom. Another guy coming in from the IBL last season for our inaugural season. He's just been huge for us, as that one will ricochet short.
So you can see the scores across the bottom. The Maysville Miners win over the Indiana Legends, our opponent next weekend. Hopefully we're going into that game 1-0 as Chuck Bloom hits the second of his 2 free throws here to put the Instigators back up 8 with about a minute to go in this game. Minute 33 to go in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
you hear the crowd getting into it here. Chuck Bloom with the rebound. The outlet pass to Malcolm Martin, and he puts the Instigators back up 10 points here with a minute 14 to go in the game. What a bucket by Malcolm, and what a great play by Chuck. Another miss by the Pros.
way to get up there too, and way to get back up there too. But Dylan Ware just can't get that one to go in on that opportunity.
That's right. As we see,
He's
Dylan
there
go
for the
gets the steal
steal,
there.
and
Finds
passes
LB.
it to Boyd,
He
and
missed her.
that one might have tore the roof off the building if LB hit that one right there.
But that's
That
a
one
3D for Dylan. So that's a 3-point bucket. The
bucket.
Instigators are up 13 with 46 seconds to go here in the game.
And now you gotta be feeling on over there on the pro sideline. You gotta be feeling that last possession because you're just in on that game. You were just a few moments ago only 2 possessions in the ABA away from taking this one right back, and now you're trying 13 with less than a minute. That's a blow right there. A big possession for the Instigators.
Absolutely. We talked about it earlier, and we said 3D rule comes into play big, and we saw it there as Dylan Ware does what he does best on defense, lurks and pokes, gets the steal, and then gets the 3-point bucket from
Absolutely.
about as close as I've ever seen a 3-point bucket made with the 3D rule, and extends the lead to 13 here with 40 seconds to go or so, 46 seconds to go.
And
The
just to
crowd
touch
is
base
really getting
now.
into it. The atmosphere here at Best Choice
Yeah.
has been incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Another
And just
3D turnover by the Pros. Can the Instigators capitalize on this? Put the dagger in this game.
great patience by the guys here in this possession. I really love to see this possession the first watch through because it showed that
Absolutely.
experience right
As we
there
see
as
it
the
there by
crowd.
Caleb gets the
crowd was there
3-point
too.
bucket. Puts
Yeah,
the
and
Instigators up 122 to 106, and that might have been the dagger, Spacely.
there was a few daggers. I think they got stabbed a few times in the past couple minutes. But just to kind of touch
6
base,
points
you
off
brought
2
up
buckets in the paint because of turnovers.
yeah,
Huge to shifting the
yeah,
momentum of this game.
big time. And kind of again just touch base back on game you mentioned coming up next week, the Indiana Legends. They've actually got a promotional event going on for that game as well. If you for fans that want to make their way out to Newcastle to watch your Instigators live during a road trip, the Indiana Legends are hosting a halftime event, raffle event to donate the proceeds to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for the chance to win a signed basketball by the Indiana Legends. Again, we will be in Newcastle playing them next week, and hopefully heading to still got some time on this clock.
There's
So hopefully
2.9 seconds left. I think we're okay here.
I
But
don't
Caleb
like to
missed
jinx
his
us,
second dunk
buddy.
of the night, but that alley-oop from LB to Caleb almost set the entire gym on fire there. Just barely
Oh,
missed
man.
it.
Yeah, that's that right there. Oh man, that's a very, very bright future for LB with the Hoosier State Instigators, and
And
not
that'll
only
do it.
LB, that will do it, but not only LB, for everybody, for all the rookies that just showed up and showed out on this game here.
As we see one of our fans actually go on the court and high-five the guys. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome, man.
Yeah. So before we move to our post-game show, I think it's only fair that we spotlight Lawrence Boyd for how well he played tonight as a rookie, as pro debut. Scored 22 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, including 7 of 10 off the bench.
Off
And
the
was our number
bench.
one fantasy scorer. So
Off the bench. That's nuts. That's nuts, dude. Yeah, and touch base on just while we're shouting out players. Man, dude, Malcolm, he kept that streak alive. He had 100% throughout the game at 2-point range. Man, Dylan, he had a game. He had 13 points, 9 rebounds, almost had a double himself. Chuck and Alex, they both had
absolutely. So we'll break it down more with our guy Jakey Muffins back in the studio, as they say.
Yeah.
After this quick commercial break, but the Instigators with the win to move to 1-0, 124, 106. Hey, Jakey Muffins. We're back in the studio with you in the post game. How'd you feel about the game?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great end to the game. Fourth quarter, kind of got a little bit close there at the end, but it's always close when we play the pros. So they're definitely a team that never lets off the gas. But that is how you want to start the start of the season 1-0 for the Hoosier State Instigators.
Yeah, maybe. First time in history. First time in history for the Hoosier State Instigators. We win the night game. That's big, guys.
Absolutely.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, and what's awesome now is we move into second place in the division, 1-0, half a game behind the Chicago Fury, who are 2-0. Or I'm sorry, the Southland Saints, who are 2-0. The Chicago Fury are 1-0. And so off on the right start, and even bigger, for the first time in Instigators history, we cracked the top 25 rankings in the ABA. 160 teams in the league, and we're ranked 24th right now by the ABA. Those are the commissioners. I like to call it the commissioners poll, a little bit similar to college football poll, but that's great. We're excited about that. Hopefully we go in and we play the Legends, another crosstown rival. They are about 20 minutes from our gym. So that's going to be huge. But who stood out to you, Jake? What'd you see in the game? Who was your big player of the game?
I mean, I've got to go with the same guy that you already highlighted with LB. For this being his first game, as a pro for the Instigators, that's very impressive coming off the bench.
Yeah.
He was very poised and all around a great effort from him. And then obviously the 3-point shooting, he led the team with that. And really, anytime we needed to put some points on the board, he seemed to be the guy to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought all the rookies honestly played really well tonight. We saw great moments from Steve Rogers, the Captain America himself. We saw great moments from Caleb there, who hit 2 free throws at the end to really ice the game. We saw great moments from Malcolm Martin, who played really well for us in his first game as an Instigator. So we wondered at the top of the broadcast, how are those new guys going to blend with the veterans and the guys that are returning? Overall, I thought it went really well. Outside of that really end of the third quarter, middle, most of the fourth quarter, where we fell apart a little bit. But other than that, I thought they blended well together. Didn't you guys?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't know if I necessarily have. There's a few players I would say that definitely stood out. Another one of those guys that rookie player Levante, he had a really good game as well. Alex and Chuck, they both had 30. They accumulated 30 rebounds together. You throw Dylan in there, that's 39. Just those three players alone, 39 rebounds in the game. We almost had 9 players that went into double digit scoring. 9.
Yeah, that's
We had
insane. Yeah, we had Dylan
6
with.
players. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry,
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna break that down for you because that's incredible. Yeah, Dylan Ware 13 points, Chuck 10 points, Malcolm Martin 16 points, AB with 12 points, and LB with 22 points, the leading scorer, and then Nelson with 16 points.
Mhm.
Levante Nelson was second leading scorer along with Malcolm. So,
Yeah.
and then sorry, JoJo Hart with 11 points. So all those
Yep.
guys went to double digits.
Yep.
We saw typical Alex Brown double. I think he had
Mhm.
15 rebounds. Is that right?
You know who my player though to highlight? I would say honestly, I'm gonna go Chuck because when you look at them numbers, he got 10. He scored 10. Right? He had
Yeah.
15 rebounds, but he was just short of his first career triple double. Just short. So I gotta go with Chuck on this one.
Yeah, he had
You know,
8 assists.
yeah,
To round that
yeah,
out,
yeah.
yeah, I think some things for concern for me, obviously,
Mhm.
is super important as well to highlight those things. I think free throws, shot right around 50% again tonight, and then
Yeah.
a ton of turnovers, which we really got to cut down on. Anyone who's been an Instigators fan for the last year plus now, um, are used to us saying those two things as things that we need to improve on.
Mhm.
But for me, those were the two big things.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I think that's something that we've touched base on every week, regardless, no matter even if we had 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement. Those type of things within the game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had 28 turnovers in this game, which is
That's a lot.
that's
That's a
way
lot.
too many, and that's
Yeah.
honestly that's how the pros got back in this game.
That's how you let any team in the professional level back into these kind of games. It's um that's definitely something that will be addressed. And something that we will focus in on over the time. But overall, I do love the intensity though on defense. That was probably one of the best team defensive games I've seen the Instigators play in our history, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, we're back at it next week on the road for our first away game before we come back.
And
Best Choice Fieldhouse. By the way, shout out Best Choice Fieldhouse and the fans there. Incredible atmosphere.
yeah.
We could hear it throughout the entire game and loved it. We saw it when we were there. Jake and I did. Loved it.
Oh man.
But next week we set our sights on the Indiana Legends and keeping our spot in the top 25 rankings going into week. Technically, next week is week 4, even though it's week 2 for us of ABA action. So until then, any final words from you guys before we cut it out for the night and let folks bask in the glory of the Instigators' victory?
Yeah, sure. Make sure you guys head over. And first off, thank you all again for all of your continued support or your newfound support of the Hoosier State Instigators. We really could not do this without you, as this franchise has been built from the ground up by the fans. So we want to first off touch base and say thank you for your support. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. It truly does help us. It helps us grow our reach and reach more basketball fans around the world to kind of explode this whole model of the Hoosier State Instigators and the Apex Athletic Collective as an ownership group. So head over, make sure, well, you're already here if you're watching this here. Subscribe to our YouTube and then head over, same username at Hoosier State ABA, head over to TikTok, head over to Instagram, support us over there as well if you're not. We're fairly active everywhere around the social media world as we kind of try to make that a focal point for our franchise and for the American Basketball Association as well. So, yeah, we truly appreciate your support and just seeing you guys in the comments or in the chat throughout the live games and throughout the regular season into the playoffs. So, that would be my message to the fans.
All right. Well, until next time, be great,
great,
instigate, and we'll see you
instigate.
soon.
See you guys.